Time to get our expert's opinion. Hilmar Schneider, he's Director of Labour Policy at the Institute for the Study of Labour in Bonn. Thank you very much for coming to Berlin, first of all.
You're welcome.
Are Germans in for another wage increase?
Well, that's quite sure, because
that's a definite.
The economy in Germany is running quite well, and so it's natural that the unions claim for their piece of the cake.
Mm-hmm. So we can be sure of that, but what about how much? I mean, there are lots of figures going around, 2.5% from some, 6.5% from others.
Well, it depends, of course, of the sector, but I would guess that something around 2.5% to 3% would be, on average, the outcome.
Mm-hmm. And what would be the effect of that, a 2.5% or a 3.5% rise?
Well, we can expect that the inflation rate will be around 2%, so it's a slight real wage increase that will result at the end.
Would it be enough to cover productivity gains as well? I mean, you'd cover inflation, but that's all you'd be covering, wouldn't you?
Well, when I'm saying that there's a real increase of wages, that means that there's some part of the wage increase that is capturing productivity gains, and that's okay.
And what about a percentage to try to rebalance the Eurozone, as some are putting it? The wise men, or one of the wise men, the governmental panel that advises the government on wage increases, for example, and economic matters, says it needs to be at least 5% in all to cover inflation, productivity gains, and also rebalance the Eurozone.
Well, this is really strange. I mean, why should Germany increase wages to an extent that would cost employment, just in order to let the others come up, and you won't know whether those other countries, those competitors, would really gain from it. The only thing that you can know for sure is that Germany would lose, and I found this very risky.
The Spanish Prime Minister seems to think that Germany needs to or must do this. The big economies have to really help out.
It's really a silly idea that there's some kind of given cake, and that has to be redistributed somehow. And many people don't understand that the story is about how to increase the cake for everybody. It's not about redistributing what is there. The Germans have been very good at increasing the cake in the past, and they should not stay away from that.
So an extra 2%, say, to rebalance the Eurozone, what would that then happen? Would that tip the scales as far as inflation goes, or productivity, or domestic consumption here? What would happen?
Well, it's amazing to see. We have investigated empirical estimations of the relationship between wage increase and employment changes, and it's amazing to see that the relation is -1. 1% increase of wages, everything else being constant, reduces employment by 1%. So if only wages would increase and nothing else would happen, it would completely be offset. But as long as we have productivity and growth, that will compensate for it, and that's a secret. And the German companies, especially those who are in the export sector, are very strong, and we have many hidden champions that are world champions in their products. And for them, it's important to keep their position in competition.
Okay, Mr. Schneider, thank you very much for the analysis.
You're welcome.